U7 Buy gives you the fastest and safest ways to upgrade your squad, with so many positive reviews showing its great credibility, along with 24/7 online customer support. And now you can earn an extra free coins for your every order. So don't miss out on the opportunity for up to 4 million free coins. So be sure to use code CV3 on U7 Buy for 8% off. Link is in the description. We had a very big issue. The striker position was vacant and we needed somebody to fill it. And so it has now been filled by Tots and Greizzman and Tots Robert Lewandowski. And today we're going to be finding out which card is better between the two in the striker position. Which card should you pick up, as this is a 2-in-1, a player comparison and a player review, to see if these cards are wondrous, mid, or doo-doo, as well as telling you the best ways to use these cards if you do decide to buy one of them. Now, before we get into the very important information on these cards, you do have to realize that one card is much cheaper than the other. So I want to help you decide whether you should pick up the card that's much cheaper, because there's not a big difference between the cheaper card and the more expensive card, which is Lewandowski, the cheaper card, and Antoine Greizzman, the more expensive card. So now, let's talk about the price. Now looky here. Antoine Greizzman got rapido, regular, don't call my cellular, right? And I'll put it this way. This game to the core is broke. So these center backs be moving like Mbappe sometimes. I ain't gonna lie. So how does Antoine Greizzman measure to the Mbappe? I'm gonna say Antoine Greizzman isn't super slow. He ain't no snail, but there will be times where he can randomly get caught up to. But if you're able to hit the speed boost with him, which you can do pretty decent, he is not slow. But I don't recommend you spamming the speed boost with him because it won't be as effective, for example, with Mbappe or Thierry Henry. But what about Lewandowski? Looky here, man. Listen to me loud and clear. This guy right here felt like I was running with a damn granny. This guy, oh my goodness. The pace was non-existent in specific moments. Off the ball, you could see if you would have some pace running, but once that ball hit his foot and you tried to speed boost with him, no chance. Every defender right back, they would catch up to him. He is the type of striker that you got to get the ball into him in the box, not really get in behind. He's not doing that for you. Horrible speed boost. But the main thing for a striker is obviously the shooting and clinicality ability. Can they finish that ball? We'll get to that. But let's just get over to something that's not as important, but still important for a striker. So look, what about the passing ability? Other dimers on the pitch. Let's start off with Robert Lewandowski. Now look here. The way you would use this guy, it doesn't really fit for the playstyle he has, which is the incisive pass for them through balls. But if you have nice wingers cutting in, he does have the ability to send that slide and glide through ball to get into your wingers like Neymar or maybe Michael Oasis, something like that. You feel me? Which was a plus. Now he doesn't have tiki-taka, so you can't play that fast tiki-taka Barcelona with him. But overall, his passing ability was solid. But what about Antoine Greizzman? You see, this guy also has the incisive pass plus. So you can do the same thing like Lewandowski and send them through balls in with precision accuracy. You feel me? But he also has the tiki-taka Barcelona, so you can play fast football with Antoine Greizzman, which is what was very enjoyable if you are that type of player. Now, if you don't have an option for a pass and your opponent is about to tackle you like a madman, you need to use that physicality to bloody off players. Now, does Antoine Greizzman have great physicalities? I'll say this. If Antonio Runiga is charging full at him like a maniac, Antoine Greizzman might put his hands up and cover his face because he will be a puss in boots in that moment. But if you're going against left backs and right backs, there's a chance you can hold off players, but for the most part, super strong players will throw them off. If you hold L2 to try and protect the ball, they might still do that wraparound elastic man gameplay and still tackle the ball. But what about Lewandowski? He's one of them biggity brute strength strikers that should be able to hold off these centre backs. So if you're in a moment where your opponent is trying to body or get the ball from you, if you press the shield button, he does have the ability to hold off these centre backs and defenders. Now, not for too long, because this game doesn't really support that much, but he does have a pretty good strength. So if you are somehow find a moment where you're in behind and your opponent is trying to body you, if you time the L2 at the right moment where they're trying to body you and you press L2, you might be able to make the centre back fall. But if you lose the ball somehow, you need to get it back with some defense, right? Well, let me tell you something very clear. Get closer to the screen. Don't give a damn about no damn defense. They're strikers. So what about the dribbling ability? Can they do a little bit of that twist and turn? Can the dribbling make you say, whoa? Well, listen, let's start off with Antoine Greizzman. There were moments in time where I was going against aggressive opponent and they were trying to just immediately just spam the tackle button as soon as you get the ball. And with players that are not the best dribblers, sometimes that can very much so affect you because you don't have enough time for your player to move away to get around the defense or make a different pass. But with Antoine Greizzman, he had the ability to get the ball, turn around and make a pass to my Neymar or a different player, which was very helpful to break down the defense. He also has the 5-star skill move, so you can dance all over the pitch, which was very nice with Antoine Greizzman, along with the technical plus play style. Solid dribbler for me. But what about Lewandowski? Let me give you an example of how it felt using this card with the dribbling. I want you to go beside a wall right now and try to move it. That wall right there is not moving. It's stiff. Another example is when you look at a baddie, stiff. You see, this card was absolutely stiff. The dribbling ability felt like I'm trying to move this way and it's like, no. I'm trying to move that way. Absolutely not, nigga. That's what it felt like for me. His dribbling was honestly horrendous for me. I couldn't believe. Now, it might have been a little bit of the servers as well, but if your dribbling is that bad with bad gameplay, which is how the game mostly is a lot of the time, good gameplay, it's still not going to be that ridiculous. So I didn't enjoy his dribbling at all with Lewandowski. But the thing we all appreciate and notice, that's that finishing and clinicality ability. Can they put that ball in the back of the net like madman? Like a madman? Listen to me. Here we'll start with Lewandowski. If you're in that box and you get the ball into it and you have the ability to turn and hit that driven low, oh yes! If you want to hit him with the finesse like Messi, top bins for Lewandowski. The clinicality ability was very dangerous if you're in the right position. The only problem was getting to that position. That's why you got to use other players around him to really help Lewandowski get goals. He's not gonna all the time create it for you, but if you're in the right position, that shooting ability is very dangerous and can give you many goals. But what about Antoine Greizzman? I found that Antoine Greizzman also has finesse like Messi. And by the way, doesn't have driven low though, but that's not something I always use, but it is a plus to have. So if you like the driven low, Antoine Greizzman might sell you in those moments. But because of his attacking positioning, he was in so many positions where you didn't really need the driven low. You could just do a finesse shot or a power or a normal shot and it would go in the back of the net. I found his finishing and clinicality ability was also top tier and ridiculously amazing. He has the acrobat playstyle, but I didn't feel like he really needed it, and I didn't really notice. But with Lewandowski, he doesn't have the playstyle, but I can't tell because there were moments where I'm like, how did that go in? And it was an acrobatic type of goal. But with that being said though, we do have to realize that one card is cheaper. So now we have to figure out what they are. Are they wondrous, mid, or doo-doo? Also midris and mudu, in between both. Let's start off with Lewandowski. Now for me, using this card and how he performed for me in the game, he still managed to score a good amount of goals. I will classify Lewandowski as mid, damn near mudu, because he was just he really had to be carried for the most of the game. Didn't show dominance to where like he can take over a match. That was just my experience. Could be better for you. But what about Antoine Greizzman? Now with my playstyle, using Antoine Greizzman, his attacking positioning, his passing ability, being able to play fast with Tiki-Taka Barcelona, I'm actually gonna have to classify Antoine Greizzman as, especially at his current price, I'm gonna classify him as wondrous. Now there may be moments where he could be midris because he's not as fast, but because of his attacking positioning, I felt like he was just in the right place a lot of times and his dribbling was so nice, I'm gonna have to put him at a wondrous card for that price. It's a solid card to pick up if you're looking for a budget strike. For a somewhat cheap striker, but not too expensive. But Lewandowski, I wouldn't pick up, even though he's a W Barca man. But wait, these cards right here could be ridiculous for you. Find out if these cards are wondrous, mid, or dude. Yeah.